For the second consecutive round of the West Indies Regional 4-day cricket tournament, all four matches will go into the fourth and final day. Unlike the third round, however, when two matches end before lunch, all four matches in this round will stretch deep into the final day, and we may even have a draw in one of them. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the show. This broadcast is a little late, but we are still here. Joining me tonight is Dwayne Clayton, who is the president of the Hanover Cricket Association in Jamaica, and Basil Butcher Jr., the son of the former West Indies cricketer. Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Aye, Captain. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be
Uh,
here.
Good evening to your viewers, and good evening to my fellow panelists. Thank you again for inviting me, Sir Carlton.
Yes, thank you both, gentlemen, and I really appreciate the company of the viewers. Without you, the viewers, this show would not have been possible. I will not be going through all four matches this evening. We will mostly be looking at the Barbados Pride versus Guyana RP Eagle match and the Jamaica Tarawas versus the West Indies Academy. However, I must give you the score in the other two matches. The Windward Island Volcanoes made 191 in their first innings, in which Trinidad and Tobago Red Force replied with 294. But in a second time, the Windward Islands Volcano made 288, setting the Red Force 186 to win. At close of play, the Red Force were 10 for 2, needing a further 176. In the match between the Students and the Leeward Islands Hurricane, the CCC made 273 in their first innings. The Leeward Islands Hurricane replied with 259, but in a second time, the Students made 301, and at the close of play, the Leeward Islands Hurricane were 15 without loss, needing a further 301 runs. So those are the updates in the other two matches. In the first match that we're going to look at this evening, and we'll now hear from Basil Butcher. Basil, Guyana RP Eagle, your team, they made 436 in their first innings. Disappointingly though, there were no centuries, as the batsmen who got good start failed to capitalize. They made 436, then bowled out Barbados Pride for 136. For 230, sorry. And in their second innings, they made 136 for 8. Obviously, going for quick runs. Surprisingly there, Tej and Chanderpaul scored 20 from 32 deliveries. Did that surprise you, Basil? But at the close of play, however, Barbados Pride needs 312 to win. Basil, give us your feedback on the guy and the performance is in this match.
Firstly, the question you asked about Tage, I would remind folks, I think it was last year or the year prior, Guyana was playing a game in Trinidad and they needed to score quickly. And if you remember, Tage and Vishal Singh both made centuries. And you wonder why Tage can't do that more on a regular, right? But overall, the Guyana team, Anderson got out for 87. It was a well played 87. And the bowling of Roach set him up beautifully and got rid of him. And Anderson, he seems to have a problem with the ball coming back into him. And that's something I noted when I saw him make his debut last year. Particularly a game against Trinidad, where the part-timer, the captain, Darren Bravo, who bowls a good in swinger, got him out in both innings. And then in the Weeks Headley game, the same Mr. Bravo got him out again. So that's something that I think he needs to correct. Permaul got his highest first class score and was stranded on 19 not out. And then there were a couple half centuries. Sinclair, soft out cotton bowl. I can't remember who was the other person that made a half century. But 436 was a good score. And the Guyanese pacers in Thorne and Smith really created havoc to the Bajans late that afternoon, which is interesting. Barbados batsmen struggling against pace, right? That doesn't sound right at all. And Guyana did a good job in dismissing them for 230 and then look for the quick runs. I saw Guyana bowl the last few overs at Barbados before the close of play. I was a little bit concerned about the fitness of the two fast bowlers because neither of them looked anywhere close with their fiery bowling in the first innings, in the second innings. So I hope both of them, they got a nice ice bath, will get a good night's sleep, a good meal, and come ready to roar tomorrow.
Okay, thank you very much, Basil Clayton. Dwayne Clayton, what would you have batted a second time if you were a Guyana, or would you have enforced the follow on? And how do you see this match ending? Do you think that Barbados Pride can hold on for a draw, or you think Guyana would be able to knock them over?
You know, I think Guyana dropped the ball by not enforcing the follow on to begin with. You know, enforce the follow on and put on the pressure. You know what I mean? You don't give up anything. Enforce the follow on, pressure the team, and try to eliminate them for as much as possible. And going into the final day, you can say, yes, I'm going to wrap it up. I think they dropped the ball. Barbados is going to fight to the end. Don't expect any rollover by the Barbados team. I honestly think Guyana dropped the ball on this one.
Okay. Have you seen Isaac Thorne bowl in this match? What is your view? What is your reaction to Isaac Thorne bowling in this match?
Well, I haven't watched him much today, as today was a very busy day, so I have not seen him in the game. I watched him in the previous game. He was looking very sharp, and I like his work ethics. You know, he runs in and put the ball where it's supposed to be in the right spot. But for this game, I have not seen him much at all.
Thank you very much, Basil.
Mhm.
In the match, on the first day of the match, was it the first? Is the second morning of the match?
Yes.
A very, very interesting incident that took place, Basil. And I also want your reaction to this incident, Clayton. But let me go with Basil first. Kemar Roach, in bowling to Veerasammy Permaul, actually fling the ball at him with intent, with great intent, and he got mad.
Yes.
Tell us, why did Kemar Roach need to do this, and what do you think should happen? What do you think?
Number one, he has to be sanctioned. Has to be sanctioned. No doubt about it. Yeah, that behavior is not acceptable at all, right? But it reflects where Kemar Roach is in terms of his pace at this stage of his career. Permaul was very aggressive in his 90. Those who saw Permaul bat, he was playing a lot of shots. And when Roach Roach running into bowl to Permaul, Permaul charged down to him and he stopped. And he said a few words to Permaul, obviously probably like, you disrespected me or something. But you know, I'm just thinking what he would have said to him, right? Because here you see a batter charging down to you and you stop, you then bowl, and then you exchange some words at him, right? And then the very next ball, you as you use the term, fling the ball. Thank God he didn't fling it straight at Permaul. He fling it into the pitch. But still, we knew what the intent was. And I know, as one of my Bajan friends said, oh my gosh, Roach has lost his only weapon, which was his pace. Because in a situation like that, if you were really bowling fast, number one, Permaul would not have been so stupid to come down the track to you. You're now a medium pace bowler, and if Roach is getting upset with this, when he faces the basketball English batters in this upcoming summer, he's going to see a whole lot of this, because that pace he's bowling at, those guys are going to be walking down to him.
Okay. Clayton, what is your reaction to what Kemar Roach did when he actually flinged that ball? Do you think he's so down and pace that maybe it's time for him to pack it up? Because
It is.
we have seen that the pace at which Kemar Roach is bowling right now, Ishmael from South Africa, Chinel Henry from the West Indies, both those ladies and many more are bowling faster than Kemar Roach now. Is it time for him to pack it up?
Um, I would not say it's time to pack up because it's not when you go up in age, you might lose pace, but you gain experience and a little more knowledge to move the ball around with whatever pace
Mhm.
you have. But what I think happened in the game is that something the batsman said that trigger off. He did not hold his own. It's something the batsman said to him that trigger him off to draw that reaction. And I think I think the any sanction is gonna take place has to look on from both sides, because it is not like the bowler just came up and decided, hey, I'm gonna fling this ball at Permaul. Permaul would have provoked him. He should have kept his calm, yes, but we are human beings and we are prone to error at times, So I think the batsman have said something to trigger him off to lose his temper a bit. But in terms of his pace, he's getting up in age. He has done West Indies very well over the years. He had injuries after injuries from time to time, and I think now he should be concentrating and bowling that length and line that will get the wicket instead of trying to bowl that extra fast.
So you do not think that there should be any sanction? Basil clearly said that there should be some sanction. What do you think? You think there should be sanction?
Discipline, yes, but again, it's not just one. That sanction has to spread across both both players.
And Basil, do you agree with that? That Veerasammy Permaul should also be sanctioned, Basil?
No, I don't think so. I think Roach was more upset because Pormal charged him more than anything else. And then he initiated it in saying something to Pormal. If Pormal responded and said something back to him, so what? I mean, that's part of cricket. He didn't need to take it to where he did what he did with the next ball, try fling the ball into the with that intent. Yeah, you could exchange your words. You go back and bowl like the old time fast bowlers from a previous era. What they would do, they would overstep the front crease and give
Let
you
me
a
sh- let me
short
share
one.
let me share something with you. In a
Hmm.
similar incident last year, we were playing a Masters match over in St. Elizabeth,
Hmm.
and we were playing against a St. Elizabeth Master in the SDC T10, and I was running in like we already didn't qualify. We didn't have a chance to qualify, so I was like taking easy. I'm like Road, so I'm not as fast as I used to be. So I
Hmm.
slowed down, rubbing my finger over the ball, and
Hmm.
this guy came up and he hit me for 2, 6, and a 4.
Hmm.
He started to shout, "You can't bowl! You can't bowl!" I said,
Uh-huh.
"Okay." I said, "Tell you what, you cannot bat. I bet you cannot hit another one."
Uh-huh.
And there was 3 ball left in the over, and he got us he slashed at one and he didn't run. And the very next ball I hit his stump. And I kinda was a little overdo it. And I said some a word to him that I shouldn't have used, get off the field. You
Right,
know?
right, right.
So it was a little of aggression shown by both players. So that is why I don't believe it was just a roach scenario alone.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. And I'm sticking with you, Dwayne, because I'm now coming to the Jamaican Scorpion versus the the West Indies Academy match. And we saw a wonderful innings from Joshua Dawn. Basil, I know you will have a lot to say about Joshua Dawn, and we'll come back to Joshua John Dawn. But Clayton, what do you think is wrong with Jermaine Blackwood? And just let me give the score in that match again. West Indies Academy 324 and 281. Jamaican Scorpion 372. They will need 234 to win on the final day. Um, uh, Dwayne Clayton, tell me what you think as a Western man. Blackwood is from the Western Jamaica. You'd have known Blackwood probably a lot. What do you think is wrong with Blackwood?
Honestly, I think he need to go back to square one and be back to basic. He need to go back to basic and start taking his cricket more seriously. I have been watching him for the past few months, and he's not the Blackwood of old. He's coming from Hanover. He made the Jamaica team from Hanover, transfer and went to St. Thomas. he need to go back to basic, go back to a humble beginning, and start to play like Blackwood used to play. I think he's trying to overdo it sometime, not concentrating. Um, I think about 2 weekend ago, he got 139 in a senior cup match. He needs to buckle down, and that was him more of a Blackwood. Now, when he go on the bigger stage, he need to be Blackwood. Don't try to be anybody else but Blackwood, and that will get him back to where he's supposed to be.
So you think that he needs to go back to Blackwood? He needs to do the basics. He needs to
Yes,
do the basic.
yes.
Basil, do you have any comment on Blackwood? I know you're very much interested in the innings of Joshua Dawn. We saw in the Under 19 World Cup, Dawn never done so well, but he
Right.
played a wonderful innings on Thursday
Yes.
and Wednesday against the Jamaican Scorpion. But what do you think Blackwood need to do from your position? And talk to us about Joshua Dawn a little, Basil.
Blackwood, and it's funny thing, Blackwood has really disappointed me because I was one of those who advocated that he should not have been dropped to go to Australia, because Blackwood has shown over the years to be one of the few West Indian batters that would fight when the, as they would say, the saying goes, when the tough gets going, Blackwood would be the one that would not back down and would give some kind of fight. So I was disappointed, and I was hoping then that this, as the first class season, Blackwood is going to come and score a buckets of runs to remind the selectors, you got to pick me with this team going to England. But so far he hasn't, and I agree with Dwayne. When you're in these kinds of situations as a player, you got to go back to basics. You got to reflect and see. One of the things he has to reflect and look at, what was I doing when I was the best version of Jermaine Blackwood, and to go and replicate that, clear the outside noise and just focus on executing the best version of Jermaine Blackwood.
What a few comments, give me a quick comments on Joshua Dawn.
Oh, well, I mean, it's interesting, young Dawn, because I saw him in the World Cup. He had a miserable World Cup, and to return home on his first game to play such an accomplished inning, kudos to him. I understand he's like only about 17 or something like that. So that's another youngster we gotta keep our eyes on coming through. I must make note that the other youngster that got all the kudos, he seems to just making cameo scores. Johnson.
Yes.
Jordan Johnson. I don't know if it's the pressure of expectation that's on his shoulders, because you can tell when you watch him bat, even in those scores, that he's a player of high pedigree.
Dwayne, coming back to you, Dwayne. You would have seen OJ Shields bowled and you would have heard a lot about him. How fast is OJ Shields?
I think he has a lot more in the tank. I don't think he's putting out everything. He has a nice run up.
We are not seeing you. We are not seeing you. Yes, that's
Hold
better.
on. Yeah, man. So as I was saying, I think he's going somewhere about in the
Still
92.
not seeing you.
Hold
Yes.
on.
Basil,
Ah,
yeah,
Hold
while we
on.
wait, yes. Oh, Basil, talk to us about OJ Shields. Why we just give
well,
Clayton a few minutes, a
No,
minute
no
or
click
two.
on
okay.
consent.
I watched both OJ Shields, and the other guy was Gordon Bryan.
God O'Brien, right?
And I was very impressed because looking at both of them, Shields obviously got more pace than Gordon Bryan, but I think Bryan got more in his tank also. Um, Both of them, beautiful run up, beautiful actions. It's just a matter of being more consistent in their line and length, and those are techniques they could work on bowling as fast. I actually told Sir Randy Roberts in a conversation with him, I saw these two Jamaican fast bowlers, OJ Shields and Gordon Bryan, and I said, Sir Randy, I would hope you will get a chance in short order to give guidance to these two youngsters because both of them got pace, and we looking for fast bowlers in the West Indies team.
I'm coming back to Clayton very shortly, but Basil, when you look at the fast bowlers in this tournament, the Isaiah Thorne, the Gordon Bryan, the OJ Shields, even Anderson Phillips, we really see Anderson Phillips running in and bowling hard. And when you look at the two Josephs, is our fast bowling getting back to where we want it?
I'm not going to say that definitively. What I would say, we have some prospects, some good prospects out there in Young Thorne, OJ Shields, Bryant, the guy from Barbados, McAllister. You also have a guy from Guyana, actually, who's not even playing right now because he has a guy named Tyndall, because he has some ankle problems, right? So we're not able to see him this year. So we have some prospects that make me feel very good. Now the challenge is going to be, how do we nurture these prospects in to be world-class fast bowlers? Because all of them got the first requirement. They all got world-class pace. Now it's to become world-class bowlers is a different story. And there's where people like Sir Randy Roberts are very important to be part of that process, because particularly the mental part of fast bowling, he could help to speed up those guys' experience about how to set up a batsman, what the things, all the different mental things you want to be aware of as a bowler when you're gonna develop your plan to bowl to a batter, the things you look for, the fields you're gonna set, and how you're gonna set up those things come with experience. But a guy like him with all of his experience could help these guys to start that process, so they start putting it into their game. So when you watch them in a first class game like we're watching now, we would see like how Roach set up Anderson.
Yeah, thank you, Basil. Thank you. Yes, coming back to your Clayton. Clayton, what do you think about Shields and all these other fast bowlers that are coming through? I think
Sorry about that. My mic was muted. Right. So young Shield is looking very well. I like his pace that he's coming through with. His run up is rather steady. He has a good bowling action. Now what he needs to do a little more is to steady that head. That head when he release that ball, I think his head is moving a little bit too much so that he can maintain the line that he wants. But he has good pace. I think he can bowl much faster. And this is a guy that need to be nurtured, as you mentioned earlier. They need to pay special attention and show him more, as I said, speed up the experience. I think we have a good quadri of fast bowlers in the Caribbean now that West Indies can look to say we have that four-prong pace and possibly a good medium pace as an all-rounder backing up. But these are the times where the greats need to step in and show their youngsters the experience, how to put the balls in the right spot. And as I mentioned, how to put the ball, to set up the batsman.
Thank you very much. Let's go to the community. Brian H is saying that good evening to you, Brian H. Great regional action. Yes, it is good. It is good. Christopher Bristol is saying that Roach was very pissed off, and Athena there is saying that greetings to you, Athena. Basil, Christopher Bristol, your nemesis,
Yes.
He's your nemesis, Basil.
I see my man, Mr. Bristol.
Yes, and both of you are from Guyana. Both of you are from Guyana, so he's always, yes.
On my case. He's always on my case.
Yes. Mikel, I agree with you, Mikel. All matches are in the final day. What did Roach tell Permaul? I missed that. Basil, can you remember what he told Permaul?
I don't know what he said to him because it wasn't on the mic. But he obviously said something to Permaul because he was upset with Permaul charging down to him when he was coming into bowl. Right? I don't know what he said.
Okay. This one is for you, Dwayne. Roach making it bad for himself. He already feeling the pressure. The captain didn't bowl him after that. Was that right for the captain not to bowl him after that? Is he making it bad for himself? Is he feeling the pressure? This one for you, Dwayne.
Well, I think the captain blundered. He should have bowled him back because what it does, it beats his confidence down. You know, something like that happened and your captain didn't give you back the ball. You're gonna feel it. You know, it's gonna play on your mind. You know, so I think he should have controlled himself to begin with, but the captain doesn't make it any better to redeem himself by not giving him back the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Basil, Tyrell is saying that the Guyana spinners will be too good for Barbados.
Uh,
What do you believe?
I mean, that could be very true. It's funny in the first innings it was the Guyana fast bowlers who caused more difficulty for the Barbados batters than the spinners. But we'll see the pitch. I saw Moti was getting a lot of spin. The ball was turning a lot, and Moti and Permaul on a helpful pitch could be a very very handful for the Bajans.
Okay. Dwayne, do you think that King should be in the test team? One of the fans in the community, Tyrell, is saying that King should be in the test team.
I certainly endorse that as well. He should be in the test, not just make him out to be a one-day player, a T20 player, but he should definitely. He has the quality to play in the test game. Let him play and express himself in the test game as well.
I agree.
Basil,
I
I
agree.
saw you going. You agree with that?
I actually I have said, and I mean, people. Let's look at the trajectory of King. King was not no white ball cricketer. King was a red ball cricketer scoring big runs for Jamaica. He goes into the CPL. When he gets transferred to Guyana, he has this brilliant year in the CPL and gets into the West Indies team. And all of a sudden, everybody forget that King was a serious middle-order contender for the West Indies as a test batsman, right? So I actually was disappointed that King turned down the offer to go to Australia this past series.
Dwayne, do you think that Permaul is showing up Roach lack of pace? I think we have dealt with this already. But Mr. Casanova is saying that he's trying to end his career.
I think that was just a little overdoing it from Pamal. I think he overdo it.
Okay, Basil Dobro 7 is saying if he was to be sanctioned, if Roach was to be sanctioned, what effect would it have on him going to England? That's what Dobro 7 is asking.
No, I when I say sanction, I talking more in terms of getting part of his match fee. The match referee maybe take away his entire match fee. I'm not talking about suspending for no games or anything like that. I talking in terms of taking away, getting a fine, right? That's all I think should happen.
Okay, Clayton, these 2 in 1 years. Start is saying that Blackwood is trying too hard to get back and is pressuring himself. And Mr. Casanova is saying that Jermaine Blackwood will done. He will soon be dropped. He's not serious about cricket. So could you take those 2 questions for me?
That's 2 questions that is not easy to answer. I don't think he's done. I think he still has some more in him. But as I mentioned earlier, he needs to get back to who Blackwood is. He needs to get back to basic. In terms of being dropped, currently he's not performing at the standard that he's supposed to be playing at. So he could get dropped. Or as done, no, he's not. He still has a little. He need to get back to basic. He need to go back into the net and play like Blackwood, not try to impress anyone. Just play his natural game.
Yes. I want to thank you guys. There are some few more comments that I'm going to come to, but just before we go to those comments, Dwayne Clayton, you are the president of the Hanover Cricket Association. I'm just going to give you a minute or 90 seconds to tell us about what is your plan for the Hanover Cricket Association and what are you doing now and what are you doing for school cricket in Hanover. As we saw this year, I don't think there were any high school from Hanover in the Headley Cup. So just take 90 seconds and tell us about what your plans are for Hanover Cricket.
All right, so very quickly, I'm gonna start with the schools. Yes, you are correct. No schools playing Headley Cup this year, and the Hanover Cricket Association is now on a drive to get all schools playing. Last week, we have issued uniforms, cricketing uniform, shirt and pants to 3 high school. We are expecting next week to present the other 3 with cricketing gears. Within another month, we're going to be having a cricket rally with all 6 high school in the parish here in Hanover. And then we're going to be going into a 40 over games. The school has been complaining about gears. We have reached out to the JCAs and other entity to see how best we could assist the team in getting their bats and the pads and so forth ready. We are working on our grounds here in Hanover. You know, facility plays a very important role. Where Hanover is going, we are going back to the grassroots. We are starting from the bottom up, you know, so we have to go back to the schools now. Empower the schools, build players. We already have Coach Cleveland into the schools, start training. We have started Merlin that year already, going to Nakalva next week. So we are going into the schools to see if we can find young talents and build on those. Put them into camps, especially this summer, and see how best we can find young cricketers. The parish team is not looking too bad this year. We have played 2 games so far, and we lost one to St. Elizabeth, but we have beaten St. James and Westmoreland. Tomorrow we have a very important match against St. Anne's. They are top of the table. We are third on the table, and we need a victory tomorrow. And I know that my players, they are coming out to play. We have, you talk about fast bowler, we have a young fast bowler in Roshane Gale. He's bowling like a bowler possessed. Very fast, very accurate, and I'm just loving this youngster. We have batsmen like Javon Store, who scored 139 2 weeks ago. We hope that he can get 100 tomorrow. I know that the St. Anne's teams are filled with big players, but we are not worried. We are ready to take them on when the sun rises tomorrow morning.
Thank you very much. Basil, there was Dwayne Clayton mentioning about gears. I don't know if you can assist in any way there, Basil. But
I will,
this question,
I will make some inquiries because I'm about helping the cricket as particularly at the grassroots level. The working class people. Cricket is an expensive sport, and to ask poor and working class people to come up, we got to find ways to subsidize because as the best players come out of those communities, the most talent, and if we can facilitate them with the gears and the opportunities, we will be losing out on a lot of talent.
so I want you to react to this comment from 007 Basil. We mentioned a number of fast bowlers' name and we never mentioned Jeremiah Louis. And I'm
Oh,
glad that 007 brought him up because I am also impressed with Jeremiah Louis,
yes,
Basil. Talk to
yes,
us about Jeremiah Louis.
yes, I am too. And then him being a left-handed bowler too is also a plus. And what also I like about Louis, he bowls well with both the new ball and the old ball. And when he bowls with the old ball, he seems to get the ball to talk even more with the old ball. So and this is not the first year I have found I thought Louis was a guy that we should be looking at. I saw him last year and I was impressed with him last year also. So I would hope the next 18 that Louis finds himself on that team.
Okay, thank you very much. Have you seen him bowl, Dwayne? Have you seen Jeremiah Louis bowl? What is your impression of him?
No, honestly, I have not seen him.
All
You
right.
know, I
All
didn't
right. So
chance to see Louis.
there are 4 matches to be concluded tomorrow. I'm going to go first with you, Dwayne. How do you see the Leeward Islands combined campuses match going? Just a reminder of the score in that game. sorry about that. Coming up with this score in that game, the Leeward Islands needs 301 to win tomorrow. All 10 wickets in hand. How do you see that one going, Dwayne?
That's very interesting. 301 is not a little bit to get. It depends on how aggressive they approach it and how positive they approach it. It is gettable. It is runs that are very gettable, but it depends on the approach of it. If they approach it the right way, in the right tempo, they will walk away with that 301 runs. They will become victorious. But if not, hey, the combined campus will eat that one up easily.
Yes. Basil and the combined campuses are at the bottom of the table. Basil, Trinidad and Tobago and the Red Force needs 176 to win, 8 wickets in hand. Basil, what do you think?
I think that's the game that's gonna be the nail biter.
It's going to be
that's gonna be that 178 gonna be tough. Because already you see how the pitch turning, right? Queen's Park Oval on a 4th day. We know the ball keeps low and the spinners and so on. So Trinidad gonna have to bat really well to get that 178. I think that's gonna be a nip and tuck game.
Dwayne, do you think Guyana will, Barbados will get these runs, or Guyana will chalk up their second win of the tournament?
I think it's gonna be very close. It's gonna be very close. Barbados for me have the edge.
Okay. I think both the CCC and this match, I think there is a good chance of them drawing. And you expect Jamaica to win, Basil? They need 234. Will it be a little tricky there?
I think Jamaica gonna win. I'm looking to see Mr. King and Mr. Blackwood getting big scores and guiding Jamaica to a victory.
So you think that Blackwood will finally get a big
Yeah,
score?
I'm putting my neck on the block for Mr. Blackwood. I am looking because one thing about Blackwood, you might look at how sometimes he throw a wicket, but one thing he got for a little man, he got a big, big heart. And
yes,
when the fight, and I think right now Blackwood is down because the bunch of low scores and all of that, a lot of noise. Even now he's looking like he could even be dropped from the Jamaica team. So I think this inning right here, I think Blackwood can come good.
So there's some reaction in the chat that Stark believe that CCC and Leeward Islands will draw. He also believes that Trinidad will lose. 007 believe that Trinidad will win. So, different opinion.
Yes.
Stark believe that Guyana will win. 007 said Kirk has to score big to put Tage out of the team.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Do you agree with that, Dwayne, that Tage has to score big to, not Tage, Kirk has to score big to put Tage out of the team?
Well, I think both can stay if they are competitive enough. Kirk need to, build himself. He need to build himself because he start out on a high. He need to continue. He need to pick up and continue and play. He need to get some hundreds.
Okay.
Sir Carlton, don't forget, Leeward Islands got a guy named Kyron Powell, right?
Yeah, that is true.
And they looking to win a game. He's the opener there. He got 100 in the first inning.
He got 100 in the first inning. Start also believe that Jamaica will win. Mr. Casanova believe that Blackwood is down. It's just down and confident, which is true.
That's
and
true.
Brian H said Guyana will win. So a number of persons are saying that Guyana will win. Caribbean Heroes is saying that Guyana will win. And so I thank you all, gentlemen. We have been here just about going up on the hour mark now. It was a pleasure having you this evening. And both of you, gentlemen, good evening. Have a good night. And all of the viewers, have a great night. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. See you tomorrow.
All right. Good night.